Explosive news tonight from the Platte River. Hundreds of thousands of sandhill cranes are descending upon us. Apparently no longer satisfied with wherever they were, they've come here and who knows how long they're going to stay. For more on this winged invasion, we turn to our correspondent in the field. Sandy?
Well, actually, Jim, we do know where they come from and how long they'll stay.
You heard it here first, folks. Our crack reporter on the scene, Sandy, has discovered the origins of these incoming cranes. How did you do it, Sandy?
Well, it's not really a mystery, Jim. They're on their way from their wintering grounds in Texas, New Mexico, and Mexico. They do this every year.
Any idea how we're going to incorporate these birds into our environment for the long haul, Sandy? I mean, that's a lot of bird seed.
Well, Jim, they aren't staying. They're on their way to their nesting grounds in Canada and Alaska, even Siberia. These cranes are not going to be around here for very long.
Well, in an unforeseen turn of events, our unflappable field reporter Sandy has discovered that this is not, I repeat, not a crane invasion. Apparently they're only migrating here and they will only be here for a few weeks, and evidently they do this every year. For more on this exclusive, hard-hitting story, we return to Sandy. Sandy?
Why do birds migrate? There are 15 species of cranes in the entire world. However, only two kinds are found in North America. Those are the whooping crane and the sandhill crane. Every spring, hundreds of thousands of sandhill cranes migrate north to their nesting territory up in the northern United States, Canada, and Alaska. Every fall, they fly back to their wintering grounds in the southern United States and Mexico. Why do birds migrate? What would cause them to move thousands of miles twice a year? Well, scientists don't really know. But they generally agree that birds migrate to find places with more food, mild weather, and longer days. So that means north in the summer, where it's not too hot and there's plenty of space, and south in the winter where it's not too cold and there's plenty of food. The northern areas are called nesting grounds. Migrating birds move here to build a nest and raise a family during the spring and summer. The southern areas are called wintering grounds simply because this is where the birds stay during the winter. There is one more important area to migrating birds. It's called the staging area. Staging areas are places to stop, rest, and refuel when traveling between the wintering and nesting grounds. For the sandhill cranes, there's one vital element that must be near all three areas, and that's wetlands. Sandhills will only winter or nest near wetlands. If there are no wetlands around, they won't stay. Why, you ask? Well, it's because of their toes. That's right, crane toes. Hold on. Let me explain. Many wading birds, such as herons, are able to land in trees. This is because their toes are arranged so they can grip the branches. But one crane toe is too small. Because of a small back toe, cranes cannot grip and hold on to branches, so cranes can't land in trees. If cranes can't sleep or roost in trees, then they have to roost on the ground. So they choose wetlands. They like open freshwater marshes, wet meadows, and braided rivers. More on that later. Non-migratory cranes. But guess what? Some sandhill cranes don't migrate. That's right, they just stay where they are. I guess they don't feel the need to fly north to the nesting grounds. The first group of these non-migrating cranes are called Florida sandhill cranes. They live in the Okefenokee Swamp in the Florida Everglades and apparently like it so much that they never leave. The next group is the Mississippi sandhill crane. This is the rarest of all sandhill cranes. There's only about 120 of these cranes, and they live in the Mississippi Sandhill Crane National Wildlife Refuge. The last are the Cuban sandhill cranes, and they live in wetlands and savannas all over Cuba. Scientists still don't know why these three groups of sandhill cranes don't migrate. I guess they just got used to the weather and would rather stay put. North American migratory routes. The cranes that do migrate use 5 main routes to travel between nesting and wintering grounds. The first is the Atlantic Migratory Route. This route is used by cranes that winter in southern Georgia and central Florida and nest in south-central Canada and around the Great Lakes in Michigan and Wisconsin. The cranes fly over Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, and Illinois. One of their major staging areas is the Jasper-Pulaski Fish and Wildlife Area in Indiana. The next route is called the Rocky Mountain Migratory Route. The cranes that use this route winter in New Mexico and northern Mexico and nest in Montana and Idaho. The staging area for this route is by the Monte Vista National Wildlife Refuge in San Luis Valley, Colorado. Close to the Rocky Mountain Route is the Colorado River Migratory Route. This route is pretty short compared to the others. The cranes winter in Arizona and migrate over Nevada to nest in southern Idaho. Their staging area is near Lund, Nevada. The Pacific Migratory Route starts with the wintering grounds in Central California. The cranes fly over Oregon, Washington, and nest in Alaska and western Canada. The staging area for this route includes Malheur National Wildlife Refuge in Oregon. The Central Migratory Route. The big one is the Central Migratory Route. 80% of all sandhill cranes in the world use this route. The only wild population of whooping cranes use this route. Eagles, songbirds, and millions of waterfowl use this route. And the staging area for this route is the Big Bend area of the Platte River in Nebraska. Sandhill cranes wintering in Texas, New Mexico, and Mexico use this staging area to rest and get ready for the big trip north. They nest in Canada and Alaska, and some even fly as far as Siberia. Over 600,000 sandhills stop and spend time around Audubon's Roe Sanctuary near Gibbon, Nebraska, every year between February and April. It is considered one of the greatest wildlife spectacles in the world. Why do so many sandhill cranes stop here? And what does the Platte River offer that would attract so many birds? Tune in next week.